We're back again for Total Divas Live Watch Along. We're going to be doing season 1, episode 9, Total Divas After Party coming up. And I'm not alone. Ronnie's in the building. How are you doing?
You know, I'm very chipper. I like what we do, TK. We developed a really fun show. You know, Total Divas is an older show, but rewatching it as a watch along on our Twitch and other platforms is fun. But I
It
gotta
is.
tell you, you're the wrestling girl. You follow, you know everything. I was newer. You brought me into this world, and I gotta tell you, I have not watched a WrestleMania since like I was, many years ago.
Moons ago.
But because we talk about this show, and of course, Naomi Trinity, she was all in the mix. I was like, am I going to watch WrestleMania for the first time in a while? And I watched it and I was into it. Now, you were in Philadelphia, right?
I was in Philly. It was a great experience. I mean, obviously seeing Trin with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, that was like amazing. I mean, I think it's time for like another Total Divas, but the experience was amazing. Shout out to my cousin. We did a couple of Philly stuff outside of wrestling. But yeah, it was really, really good. I actually also got to speak to Natalia. So Natty, we're going to be dropping that interview probably in a day or so. But yeah, it was a great, very, very good experience.
Yeah. Well, at any case, WrestleMania was fun to watch on the TV, fun for you to be in Philly, and makes it even more fun to go back 10 years ago to watch Total Divas. This episode's a little interesting because it's episode 9 of season 1, but it's not like the series that we've been watching.
Yeah, it's not a traditional episode.
But I think it's still going to be interesting to get a couple points of view. So let's check it out.
Let's check it out. Let me get it going.
Tonight on the Total Divas After Party.
I wonder what that conversation is about.
One quick thing, just to let everyone know, we of course are, streaming the full episodes on Twitch. So if you see the platform on YouTube or whatever, and we're just recapping it, or you want to see the like watch along portion, that will be on Twitch. Can I tell you that I want to see something, TK?
Sure.
I would love to get like even one of the producers or executive producers or somebody who like implemented this show just to see, like, did it almost not get greenlit? Was it like a sure thing?
Because of the after party, how it,
yeah.
That's not traditional. They typically don't do that in the middle of the season.
Yeah, that after party opened up my mind for a little bit because we had just been watching these 9 episodes. Granted, it's been 10 years ago, rewatching it for a watch along, but it just kind of opened up my mind to so many questions, And I love to know, for the sake of the career that you and I do and choose, how certain shows get made and what could have been differently. Was there another person who was going to fill JoJo's, position, or even Marie? Like, all that is intriguing to me. But this whole episode seemed to lock in on Natty at the end.
I mean, wouldn't that was kind of like the strangest things. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that went on the cutting room table or editing, because I'm sure there was a conversation had between TJ and Natty. So that's one thing. But it's just when like reality was like fun because you still didn't know all the nuances involved. There was still kind of some openings as far as it being non-scripted, whereas now today's reality shows are a lot more scripted for several reasons. So it was, I feel like based off of Natty's personality, it wouldn't have gotten greenlit to air, or Jarrett being on there, or like it, unless her and TJ were okay with that little window being opening. So that opened, and they're still together. So
I just wish, for the sake of TJ and everything he saw at the wedding when Jared was there, I just wish and maybe at this reunion portion we did get that, or not reunion, but this after party. I wish she might have done it. They may have edited it. I don't know. But if she could have just stepped in for one moment and sort of reassured TJ, it was weird because on one hand I was totally with her, because I think she enjoyed the compliments. I mean, it literally was TJ said she was amazing, obviously. The host said she was amazing. Jared said she was amazing. Trinity was like, who wouldn't want to be with Natty? And while I love that for her, take all the compliments, I think she should have stepped in and said, listen, that was just a moment. Jared and I do have a history. There's a lot of emotions when you're getting married, but TJ's my guy. Because I don't fault her for going through those emotions. I don't fault anybody who's about to have their big day and they start to think of all the things, saying the word forever is kind of a hard word to say, but she just sat there and took the compliments. And I love Natty, so this is not really a knock. It's just, if I was TJ in that situation, I'd be like, come on, step up for me,
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it is definitely wow, it is definitely like I don't know if there's a right way for either situation. Like, yes, she could have done that, but it kind of almost like what Natty was making reference to. It wouldn't have happened if TJ on her special day, her birthday, they would have gone out, like did something she wanted to do. So
that's good. You're good, TK.
Kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, she could step in, but guarantee that they did, she dressed up nice, she wanted to do something special for her birthday. If they did that, then this conversation wouldn't be had, because then at least she's paying attention to her. So
that opened up the door for that a little bit.
Exactly. That's often what happens when you have, there's a breakdown in relationships. Oftentimes somebody who, needs a little bit more attention, there's not that conversation had, or somebody says, hey, I need more attention, and you decide to like work more or whatever. Those are decisions that both parties make, and in that there's sometimes there's consequences, sometimes there's not. Sometimes the other person understands and you realize it's a short period of time, but if it goes like 5 years in and you're still working on this big project, then it's like, what are we doing right here? So
there's a comedian, Martin Lawrence, had a special called You So Crazy back in the day, and he talks about that, how the girlfriend is like, I just want to spend time with my baby, and like she would keep coming up and he'd want to go out with his friends, and then it was, I just want to spend time with my baby, over and over and over again. And then finally, when he was where's she at? And she said, somebody else got your time. And it's that thing. It's like, if you don't show up, somebody else will maybe give your significant other their time. Anyways, that's just funny.
And not everybody needs like the required attention as everybody else, so you have to find what works for you.
And that's the other thing. TJ knows his fiance and wife is amazing. He like, that's the thing about having somebody at such a high quality. It's like, yes, she's beautiful. Yes, she's got a great career. Yes, she's the life of the party and very lovable. Of course, lots of people are going to, generally enjoy her. So he knows what he's a catch as well. So it works. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but oftentimes sometimes you take advantage of the ones who are the most closest to you too.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really, they're amazing, but the appreciation daily isn't there because they're there all the time. So, that's, they're still going. So they figured it out. Good. So we're good with that. But
what you got to do? You got to assess what your love language is and let that other person know. TK, that makes me ask the question, do you know what your love language is? Or does it change based on who you're dating?
Oh, that's a good one. I did. And then I forgot what it was, because I'm in like work mode now. But I did because they have a test online what you can do, and they give you like a 1, 2, 3, like you're number 1, you're number 2, number 3. And so me and my boyfriend, we did that, and so we know what each other's are. But life is life.
Life is lifing. Yeah. I think I like the one spending time. I used to think it was the words of affirmation, but the funny thing, hopefully this doesn't sound like you gain a sense of arrogance or confidence, but like, I feel like there was a time in my life where I felt like words of affirmation was it filled me up in such a way. And now I feel kind of confident, even though I've got so many things to work on, right? Like you could always have your own insecurities or things to work on, but you can still be confident, like, I'm pretty amazing. So it's funny that once I got to that stage, words of affirmation aren't really what I go for. But spending time, the quality time, like Martin Lawrence said, somebody got your time. quality time to me is a big value. I wanted to shift real quick to Bree mode, and a second ago you said you love the pure way reality TV was back then, where it wasn't so strategic. And what I mean by that is, they said in this after party, they're like, oh, Bree mode, it became a thing on Twitter. It became a thing that everyone really connected to. It's so much better the way it used to be versus now people come into shows with like, oh, this is going to be my merch and I'm going to say this line in a funny way and it's going to, like, edit really well on the show. I think Bree mode was just natural, and it makes sense because her sister is a little bit more vibrant and
every day.
Yeah, she Bree mode every day. So I thought that was when you referenced a second ago, like, oh, how reality TV used to be, where the best moments became the moments, not you coming into a show and saying, oh, if I do it this way, this is going to access a different part of my career. So that to me was actually really cool.
Yeah, it was actually funny because yesterday I was hanging out with a couple producers, one of them from the Bad Girls Club, and other one's from I think it's called the Monsters Ball or RuPaul's Drag Race, or both of them. And they were talking about how reality TV has like changed, like, as far as what producers do behind the scenes and stuff like that. And it's a lot more where you used to just kind of like, okay, you casted the person and this is what you get, versus now it's like you cast them, but you cast them in totality as far as the whole show in general. And then now it's on the reality producer to almost coach them to think a certain way, especially those isolated ones where you're like by yourself somewhere or you're trapped on an island. Like those ones are even more, I don't know the right words, dangerous, because you need to get a certain effect in order to get, the show, in order to get it picked up, in order for people to watch it, stuff. So it was quite interesting to listen to them yesterday, where it's just like, because even I think the Love Is Blind one, there's all sorts of tea behind there. So yeah, reality shows are not necessarily the same, but it's still the form of television. I do miss. I'd be interested to see what like a Total Divas 2024 would look like.
Yeah.
In it, and if the superstars of today and of yesterday would be willing to put themselves out there like that, even though you kind of sort of do on social media, but to agree to that, would they do that again?
Well, yeah, you curate your own, and a lot of people these days, because of the reality TV production games that are being played, a lot of people don't want to like sign up for that the way that they used to, because it gets manipulated in a way. To your general point, I definitely feel, I don't know if the name would have to change, because you told me that the word total and then with Divas doesn't really work as much today. But
it depends on who you talk to.
And respectfully, but also whatever it becomes, I do think there could be another batch of the next, imagine to meet somebody who's like, JoJo's fresh into the scene. Eva Marie hasn't become Eva Marie. Like I would watch a current show like that. I think there is room for that. And watching WrestleMania, like I said, for the first time in a while, and I know people go hard on all this wrestling content, you more so, and you kind of brought me into this world. It's exciting. So I feel like now is a really good time. I mean, I was really shocked to see 40 years. Like that is such a big deal for any type of project. So
it is.
Yeah. Maybe TK will produce a version of this show and she will hire me as one of the producers.
I mean, we'll see. I was hanging out with some producers yesterday, so we'll see. That's 2024 is still open.
With this after party, did you get any excitement with some of the never before seen moments and also what they were leading towards? Because I felt like episode 9, it gave us a big like completing of a lot of different moments, but I'm ready for more. I'm like ready for, I think it's 14 episodes.
Yeah, like the Eva and JoJo shade was just like, yeah. Okay, tell us how you really feel. I honestly, it might be interesting if reality shows start adopting this kind of in middle season thing, but maybe that's why the Real Housewives and have like a 3-part after show, or not after show, post show series, like because instead of doing the middle, they do, because there's so much to talk about. But a mid season would be kind of interesting for it to become the norm. But
well, as I said, I want to talk to whoever put the show together. I mean, obviously it's Boone and Murray, John Murray. But I would like to know, like, how was that intended? Was it going to be 9 episodes and then episode 10 was this after party? Was that something from the network? Like, wow, we weren't sure. And I'm sure the network was like, from the way the host was talking, it was like this became lightning in a bottle. They, of course, hoped for this to happen and the success, but you don't ever know. And to me, that's where the positioning with this episode felt. But you're right. Housewives, they do a whole season, a lot of times, not a lot of accountability. And then it's like the gauntlet when it comes to the reunions. Whereas this felt a little bit different and it kind of invigorated a lot of stuff for the future, be it the end of the season or going into season 2. Because JoJo was like, nope, not today. And Eva also was like, well, you just need to succeed a little bit more.
It was definitely on the shade. I wonder too if they obviously they go their separate paths but still part of the company for a period of time. I wonder if today they are friends, because obviously not everybody's there's acquaintances, then there's friends, and there's like like I'll give you a like online types thing. So I wonder, like, I know certain people who are still good friends to this day, but I wonder if other folks are. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we shall see. If you want to follow my stuff, it's randomlyronniejr.com. And of course, I'm on Twitch, as I said, and Patreon. If you want to financially support, it would be patreon.com/randomlyronniejr. It takes a lot of time. I love working with TK because not only do we love talking about this show, Total Divas season 1, but it's a lot of work too. So if you do want to support, it doesn't take much to do a like, a comment, or a subscribe to either of our channels or platforms. And I know that down the road we're just going to get so many people who end up watching every week this watch along series that TK kind of came up with. So I'm very excited about that. So thank you for bringing me in.
Thanks for coming on. You guys can follow me everywhere on everything at TK Trinidad. Thank you guys so much who've been following my social media, for supporting my little doggy. She's getting her operation next week, or this week coming up. Like in 5 days we're able to generate some money for her leg. If you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, go and check my social media. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Check us out on all social media platforms at www.talkpod.com. And shout out to Renee for hosting that, who is now obviously a host on AEW. Amazing. You can check out our interview with her as well on our YouTube page. But other than that, check you guys later. Ciao.
Hey, I'm Renee Paquette, and you are watching Women's Wrestling Talk.